You're tuned in to Just One Hot Mom with host Nanika Ansari. Get ready. She's about to bring you that fire, that flavor, that heat, all that passion, and more from around the world and in your neighborhood. Stay tuned.
Hey, hotties, you are tuned into Just One Hot Mom, and I am your host, Nanika Ansari. And in typical Cleveland weather fashion, I have had on a coat today, a t-shirt and shorts outside, and now a sweatshirt because this weather is funny acting for sure. But I'm so glad to be back in the neighborhood yet again. We missed last week. I missed you guys so much, but I am so excited to be on today. Today, I have a guest who is a call-in. Her name is Patrice Shavone Brown. She is the author of Confidence. So What? I'm Fat. And so I'm so excited to be talking about her. We're going to give us curvy girls some more courage, and even you skinny girls, or you fat fellas, or you skinny fellas. Hey, Patrice. Is she on?
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good. So I just did like a little introduction of you in the background, but can you tell us about Miss Patrice Shavone Brown, if you don't mind?
Okay. So, like you stated, I'm an author. I'm the CEO of Restore Bodies and Minds, which is a mental health facility here in North Carolina. I work with adults that have severe and persistent mental illness. And I've been in business since 2011. And I just recently released, I believe it's my fourth book, A Fat Girl's Confidence. I'm Fat, So What? And I started the Confident Fat Girls movement. And I pretty much have been busy doing some of everything this past 2 to 3 years. Just working on my whole entire movement, my brand, the business, being a single mom. I don't even know what else I could just say about myself.
That's that multitasking mama in you. It's like a superpower. Like we all got it. It's
right.
Something. You keep your cape tucked away underneath the apron somewhere. That's a superpower. But what attracted me is, so I found you on Instagram, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, who is bold enough to say this? So what? I'm fat. I was like, because we all can think it, but who is going to be bold enough to say it? So I went over to your page, and I'm like, look at her out here. And it's gorgeous. Like, she is beautiful, you guys. So go ahead on and follow her over on Instagram so you can see her movement and what she's about. And I actually found 2 books. I don't even know if the other book I was listening to on Audible. I was like, look at her. I can find her on Audible, Nook Books, Kindle. I told you I do some research and I find out who we bringing on. So I wanted to get into this with you because, we just passed through the first of the year. People are making declarations that, I'm going to lose weight this year, or I'm just going to be content with who I am. And so I wanted to give some of us just some encouragement and some inspiration to be who we are and to stake your claim on who you are. So I wanted to ask you, because the book is Fat Girl's Confidence, So What? I'm Fat. When you made that declaration, what were your feelings behind So What? I'm Fat when you said that to yourself?
It was sort of kind of like me taking a stance against all the different standards that I've seen on TV and the societal standards, you having to look this way or be this size to be happy or to be in the definition of confidence. So I was just like, well, hey, I'm not a size 0 or a size 3 or a size 9. I'm double digits. I'm going to be proud of who I am no matter what. I love me. And it was times when I remember that I struggled with self-love. So I was just like, hey, it's time to pick myself up. And in doing so, I was just like, okay, self-acceptance is number one. That's key. And that's exactly what I did. I just said, so what? I'm not going to listen to all the other people that were out here saying all these messy things about plus-size women, fluffy queens, or whatever
the curvy
definition
nation
that you call yourself. yeah, because there's so many different, I have had so many emails and inboxes like, what do you mean fat? I'm not fat, and it's fluffy, and I'm just like, no. When I use the word fat, it was not to degrade us. No, it was sort of kind of like me liberating the word fat. It's the complete opposite. You know, I'm not saying, well, fat is bad. I was just saying, okay, I'm fat, so what? Who cares? That was why I used that word. I could have used plus size. I could have used fluffy queen, but I was just like, no, because I know behind closed doors when people talk, they're going to use the word fat. They're
and that's
not
exactly
say
how they go.
Size and all these other things. Right. They're
you cute for a fat girl. You know how it goes.
Yeah. Right. Yes. They
you're
love
cute
that.
for a fat girl. But that's how they get all women like that. Either you're cute for a dark skinned girl, you're cute for a fat girl. It's like, why can't I just be cute for who I am? Like, just claim it. I'm cute just the way I am. But when I was reading, I'm telling you, the title is so catchy because you want to know what it is that you're saying about being fat. But you're right. People put a negative connotation on the word fat. And so we've learned to accept that. And so if somebody calls you fat, it immediately hurts your feelings because nobody wants to be considered fat. Like, fat is bad. You would rather be plus size. You would rather be fluffy. You would rather be curvy. You would rather be all these other things. But the moment you hear the term fat, you automatically get upset. And it's like, I should be upset about all these other things. That's not necessarily I'm plus size. Why can't I just be who I am in my skin? So I think I was reading her book. Y'all go read the book. We're going to talk about it. She's going to drop some more information. There was something you said, like, why are fat girls or curvy girls, plus size, whatever, we're going to use the term fat today so y'all can get used to it so you can get the book. Why are fat girls assumed to be sloppy and not confident? Like, it's like when you look at them, even if I have on like one of the best outfits, because my body doesn't look like how you think it should look, I'm sloppy. Why is that? Why is that a coincidence with that?
Wow. Well, that's a good question. I'm going to say when somebody calls you sloppy, it is the shape. It's sort of kind of like everything's out there. Things aren't, put together well. I usually get from other women, oh, I love your shape. I love how you're wearing that dress. I love your form. Some guys say those different things to me. But I think it's sort of kind of like I'm not showing everything. I don't have all my legs out, all my breasts out, all my butt out. I don't have everything out. Something's hidden. So that could be what they mean by sloppy, is that everything's just out, everything's there. So you could be plus size, you could be a big woman and be classy or be, respectful in what you wear. That's what I would think in the back of my mind when somebody says sloppy. You're not put together well. You're not dressed properly for your size. But some people would say, well, what do you mean by dress properly?
Right? Because like I've been seeing a lot, like the curvy nation is taking over. So whether y'all want to embrace it or not, we coming for you. We coming for modeling, acting, whatever it is. But whenever I think of like them think sloppy, I could see a woman who's smaller than me wear the same thing and it not fit her, yet she not be considered. She can still be considered confident, and I can't be confident. Like I'm just like, you're being sloppy and unhealthy. And so I was just curious as to how like that came about. And my question for you after that was, how can we change the narrative? Like you said, some men will say you look good in that, or your shape, that's really hitting your shape. How can we change the narrative for big girls, curvier girls, fat girls, from being unattractive to just being like, she's gorgeous no matter what? How do we start that conversation? Because it's going to take us to do it. There's nobody volunteering and signing up and saying, I'm going to take up for fat girls.
I think you already answered it. We, us, me, myself, and I, it starts with us. And that's what I mean by confidence. It wasn't all about the look. It was more about, that mental mind frame. Me building myself up first so that when somebody says these things that could, tear down that self-esteem or tear you down mentally, I will be prepared. It doesn't matter about what anybody else has to say, think, or do. It's about me and what I feel comfortable in doing. So to me, you already answered that question.
So, but in changing the narrative, are we going in like, it's one thing to say, you know, like we're going to march because of police brutality. We're going to do all these other things. I think people sometimes don't get that you can march and protest all these other things, yet you can still be a cruel person in these other areas. So do they expect us to pick up, I don't know, what we lead the march with? I'm trying not to, I was going to crack a joke, but I ain't going to be funny tonight. What are we leading our march with and telling people like, hey, we are sick of you guys coming for us, coming for our weight. We here, we're taking a stand. How do we encourage each other to do that?
Wow, how do we encourage each other to take a stand? Mm-hmm. That's the question?
Yep, that's the question.
You hit me with these good questions. Wow. How do we take a stand?
Because honestly, based on what... Go ahead. Well, I think honestly, some of us are we're shy, or you've been called fat and you've been made to feel ashamed. So how do we get, like, are there enough of us that are confident to bring more people to the forefront and we stand together? Like, how do we get those individuals?
Oh, the movement. I'm having a movement in Jamaica and get media there and, wear the shirts. And I think it's in our walk, our stride, the things that we do and what we say, and just be bold about who we are. And, it's time out for looking down or feeling bad or feeling sad. And I've seen some plus size women be real bold with swimwear.
Who are you telling?
And dresses and things.
Cassandra, somebody.
Yeah, like...
So Cassandra's listening, and she says some people look at fat people as disgusting. And I think that's true, but I think that the media has played a major role in that. Just think about the show. Like, my kids the other day were watching the show, My 600-Pound Life. Like, I feel like they're exposing those individuals, but not in a light to give them confidence. It's like to say, okay, you're wrong for this. And not to say that anybody should be 600 pounds, but I'm just saying, like, I don't think that they're shining a light on it to make anyone feel confident, because I could see the looks on my kids' faces. Go ahead.
When I sing, I'm going to be honest, and guys, please don't get me wrong. When I sing 600-Pound Life, I try to call the place where you can go ahead and get the surgery. Lord, what is it? I forgot the name.
Bariatric clinic.
I tried to go for bariatric surgery because I was just like, oh my God, I'm promoting, loving yourself and confidence, and I'm a fat girl, and so what? But it was the butt factor that kicked in. Now, if you're having health issues and you can't move and you can't walk, and make a decision that's going to be best for you. Now, when I say I'm fat, so what? I don't have any health issues that's going to keep me from living, that's going to keep me from being around my children. So if you're that person that's going through a weight issue and it's holding you back, do what's best for you. Being fat, I don't know. I'm just saying, when I seen the show 600 Pound, I was just like, wow. Now, there comes a time in life when I feel like a line needs to be drawn, but hey, it's up to you at the end of the day.
And okay, so when I mentioned 600-Pound Life, so yeah, you're right. A lot of those are health issues that need to be resolved. But I'm thinking of other shows that just like, they draw so much attention towards what we look like. Like, do you really get to know a person if you're just looking at what I look like on the outside? Like, if that's all you see, then you don't really see me. I could be 293 pounds like I was, and you may think that you know me, but you have no clue. All you see is the outside version of who I am. And honestly, the reason why I did drop that weight was because I was like, Lord, I want to live. I do. At some point in time, you have to make a choice that you want to live, but I'm still a curvier girl now. Like, it's not going to ever go away that I won't have some amount of curve. And I like the fact the way you just said it's in our stride and in our walk, because I have like a 227 Sandra walk, and and I just like the fact that my curves allow me to have that. But I brought up the media because it's like, I just don't like the fact that they always try to portray us as not being as attractive, or it's a miracle if somebody falls for the character that just so happens to be plus size.
Right.
Like, their storyline is like, oh, y'all? Like, oh my God, somebody like finally got her. She got married. And I was thinking of the two people on This Is Us, Kate and Toby. Like, they're two plus size people together trying to have a baby. And I feel like the show at first just focused in on her whole plus size. Like, that was her only storyline until we saw her break out and do something else. And now she's having a baby.
Wow.
Yay, plus size people have babies, y'all.
So it's sort of kind of like they're gonna downplay you being fat, like you're a pity pot, a pity story because of your weight. And that's the opposite. Like, yeah, you could be plus size, so what? And we're gonna move on because like my sister, she was born with tumors, and I had a recent conversation with her, and she was just like, I'm so tired of being somebody's pity story. Like, I'm nobody's pity story. I've been trying all my life to prove myself to other people. Why would I want to be, looked down upon? So I get what you're saying when you told me the story about Toby and
Kate,
how everybody's just focusing on and how everybody's just focusing on the weight. And nobody. I get exactly what you're saying. I'm not a pity story for anybody.
And I'm glad you brought
well
that
above
up.
that.
Like, nobody wants to be considered the pity story or the friend that let's make her feel good about herself. Like, how I don't already feel good about myself? Like, you think it's your own hang up, your own securities that are telling you that I shouldn't feel good about myself. I can feel good about myself without you co-signing it. And so I just find that that's the story, though, that the media sells us most of the times, is that fat girls should feel a certain type of way about themselves. And if you don't feel that type of way, then you're shamed into feeling bad. And that just ain't gonna happen, y'all. Like, I'm not gonna feel, y'all gonna take all these curves. Y'all gonna get them every single day. But let's get into this. Y'all don't laugh. So, that was my other question. Like, so when you came out and you said, you called yourself fat, did you receive like a lot of negative feedback? Did people tell you that they were offended by you using that term? Like, how did people receive you saying, so what, I'm fat?
I think it's a mixture. A lot of guys were saying, like, you're not fat. What do you mean? I had some girls that started comparing themselves to me, and they were saying, like, you're not fat. Like, what do you mean? I think you're beautiful. Like, and that's one of the things that we shouldn't do. Like, stop comparing yourself to the next person. If she's a little bit bigger than you, if she's a little bit smaller than you, if she's a little bit curvier than you, just stop comparing. It doesn't matter. I feel like, who are you to say that I'm not fat enough? Who are you? Like, I got
right.
that type of thing. Like,
you're not
fat. What do you mean? Right. What are you talking about? When I step on a scale, it's not 100. I'm like a 200 girl.
Yeah, the scale does not lie to you. It will tell you the truth in a heartbeat.
Right. The heaviest that I've been, I got up to 309 pounds after I had my daughter back in 2012. That was like a breaking point for me. And I looked in the mirror and I really didn't see Patrice. And that was like when I was like, wow, I got to do something. I'm feeling real heavy. I feel weighed down. My breath still felt heavy, just everything. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, man, I got to work on trying to find myself. I went to the doctor and I started complaining about my back. Yeah, so that I made some changes. I shed some pounds. I'm still not the smallest, but I've worked on me, and it shows in the pictures. I've had a little bit of a transformation, so I'm still working daily, and that's why I say, if you feel that person that's going through, and health is one of the issues, and the weight is causing you to have a health issue, then make the necessary changes. I'm not saying don't do it. Just be fat and proud. What I'm saying is, hey, you could be fat and proud. If you want to get fit, then do that. It's whatever your prerogative is, But when you're working on you, just ignore everybody else around you and just focus on what you want to do, what your ultimate goal is.
And since you opened the door, I'm going to go ahead, kick it down, and walk on through. Why do we, as curvier girls or fat girls with each other, why do we shame each other? I was in a store, and before a lady was like, you was too little to be in here. And I'm like, girl, I'm like a 14, 16. And I'm like, I have to be in here. But it was like making me feel bad that I was in the store shopping next to them, and they were bigger than me. And I was like, well, why? Why are you trying to make me feel bad? I'm just in here to buy a pair of jeans, and I'm short and round. So just imagine I have to go to like a specialty store so that they don't fall all the way down my leg, and it still fits my hips. So why do you think that? Is it strictly between, so let me get the question right, is it strictly between women that we are judging each other? And so even like either we're fat and skinny judging each other, or we're fat and fat, or skinny and judging each other? Do you think that that's just something that women do to each other?
Oh, wow. You know what?
I told you opened the door, I was going to walk through.
I mean, well, first and foremost, again, there goes that comparing yourself to the next girl, or you're not fat enough, or you're not skinny enough, or no, it's a thing where we need to mind our business at some point, and let's not be too judgmental with one another. That's how, I would have responded to it. I think it's like a universal thing when it comes to women. We are so quick to judge one another and to start shaming and hating on one another rather than support. Mm-hmm. So it's universal. That doesn't even have anything to do with size. I believe that it's just us, like our nature.
It's our attitudes towards each other. We have so much that we pick apart about each other, and then we go home and then we pick ourselves apart. It's like, why even do it? Like, the world is going to be cruel enough, so you're just going to invite more cruelty into your life by you either being that way towards somebody else or somebody being that way towards you.
Oh, well, you know what? The world is already that way. You've seen those internet trolls. Mm-hmm. They're everywhere. I've seen some people that try to come to my page when I had women that were responding, and I had to block some people because I'm not going to have the negative stuff. I'm supposed to be uplifting. I want everybody to feel, liberated and uplifted when they come to my page, or when we meet and interact with one another. All that different comments. I've seen stuff like fat, like the mad faces, and people were trying to pass judgment without even reading the book.
Right, and
so we were,
you guys,
we're quick to judge.
You can read the first page and it'll tell you it's not demeaning to anyone. But you're right, people are so quick to judge and jump on the train for anything. Like the moment that they are given the soapbox and the microphone, they just run with it without really finding out what's going on behind the scenes. So when I came to your page, I was like, I'm gonna be nosy. I'm gonna scroll through and see what you have going on. And I was like, okay, so this is encouraging us just to embrace who we are. And a lot of us need that. There are so many women empowerment groups going on right now. There are women supporting women. You just have to find the tribe that's right for you and get your support from them. That's what I've been finding out. So when I came to the page, I was like, okay, like I'm about to be fat. PHAT. But it's just
right.
It's just, I think it's like mind opening when you see how uncomfortable some people really are, and they're even afraid to have that conversation to be like, I know my body doesn't look like yours, but you're making me uncomfortable by the way you're treating me. It's like, and that goes in so many arenas that we can have that conversation. People just being able to express themselves and say, hey, I'm uncomfortable with the way you're treating me. And if you can't treat me better, then, let's disassociate. So I don't know. That's what I got from the book, y'all. The book was empowering. So I'm in a minute, we're going to get really into it. Well, I think right now. So, in the book, you have there are 7 days of affirmations and activities. And one of them is the first day, I want to say, and one of the first activities, it might be the first or second day, is to go in the mirror and say, I love you. And I was like, we think that that's something that's so easy, but it's hard for people to love family, let alone love yourself. Why did you pick that to be one of the things, telling yourself that you love yourself? Why was that important?
Wow, because love, a lot of people don't know what it is to love self-love. We're going to love everybody else, the kids, our husband, spouse, or whomever, but ourselves. A lot of times we put ourselves last. And if you're a caregiver like me, or by the time you're finished giving out love to everybody else, there's not that much for you. So loving me first before anything needs to be practiced when we're talking about building confidence and self-esteem. You got to love you first because there's going to be a lot of different tests in your life that's going to focus on whether or not do you love yourself enough. Do you love yourself enough to walk away from those negative people that bring you down? Do you love yourself enough to walk away from that toxic relationship that has been over? You know, do you love yourself enough to fix the things that bring you down? That's not going to make you a better person. So self-love, it has to be number one when we're talking about building confidence.
Do you think that people find it difficult though to look into the mirror and tell themselves I love you? Because like for me, I know like this may be TMI, but I've been known to go get in the mirror, strip, and just look at myself and just, you know what I'm saying, like to just be really real with myself. Do you think people find that difficult?
Yeah, it's going to be difficult if you don't love yourself. If there's some things that you don't like about yourself, it's going to be very difficult. So yeah, but hey, practice makes perfect. Practice makes perfect. There's gonna come a time when you're gonna have to do it. So,
and I really think it's like about getting really real with yourself, about really looking in the mirror, and if it's something you want to change, like making the action steps to change it. But if you're not going to change it, then just falling in love with what you look like and who you are. Oh, okay.
Right.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. So when we're looking in the mirror, we're telling ourselves, so the daily affirmations are basically us speaking to ourselves. Why do you think it's important that we speak those things to ourselves? Besides, I love you, I think I forgot the other ones, but there was like, you have to like yourself, you have to love yourself, you have to be in tune with yourself. Why do you think that's important for us to do?
Why do I think it is important for us to like ourselves? Because how are we going to be able to grow and interact with other people, if we hate ourselves? If some things is missing in our lives, how are we going to be a blessing to other people? How are we going to help the next person that's going through something? It's sort of kind of like when you share your testimony with other people. It's supposed to help those people that are in pain, that are going through different things. So that's my response for that one.
But as you and I both know, and I'm sure you know more so than I do since, working in the mental health field, is that people wear masks all the time. How do we get them to remove that mask and to really face what they're going through?
Just start being real. Just start talking from the heart and just be you. A lot of times, I know it was me just coming out now and just speaking with people. At first I would practice I'm going to say it this way, I'm going to do it this way. Nope. I stopped doing that. I just said, if somebody's going to like me, they're going to like me for who I am. Just simply Patrice, because that's why I have been able to have the clientele that I've had, is because I just spoke to people normal. It ain't about me putting on or putting up this big front or pretending to be something that I'm not. That's pretty much out the window. There's no need for that. People are looking for realness right now. Mm-hmm. The more realer that you are, the more that people will be able to relate to you. So take off the mask and just be who you are, and people will connect with you no matter what.
And see, the one thing I think that keeps us with masks on is social media. You get to hide behind your phone, or you get to hide behind a computer, and you don't get to show people who you really are unless you're bold enough to come out and step out and say, this is who I am, or unless you're really your real self on social media. I think that allows people to hide and to create this personality like, okay, this is who I am, and so this is the way I'm going to be, but that's not you in real life. And so we're seeing a lot of masks or people who are pretending to be something that they're not. And I think it's doing more damage to them than it is to the people who are following them. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, you're right. A lot of times on social media, people are made up. the makeup, the image, people aren't being real anymore. And that's because of social media. That's a part of social media's job, is to put on a mask and just pretend like life is A-okay, life is fine, I have no issues. But that's not what we're supposed to do. We need to be real with one another and say, hey, I got some issues going on. I got some stuff that's wrong with me. You know, let me share this with somebody else, so maybe this story right here can be relatable. And the mistakes that I've made, hey, don't do it. Let me tell you, sis, already, this is what happened. And I think the more real that we are by taking off those masks, the more people will be able to see themselves in us and get their life right.
And I think too, though, that if I always tell people when they see me, I was like, I could look like the people of Walmart person. So I want people to be aware. So you have to see what I really look like. I can't put on makeup every day and pretend that I like. Ooh. People like, just one hot mom. I was like, yeah, but hot in the sense that I could be a hot mess sometimes. I could look really fly sometimes. Yes. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I need for you to accept me in all my hotness. I can't keep up with that. I cannot keep up with the social media image. You know, like you've seen me. You know, put my clothes on. I clean up real well now, you know, but I get tired. I'm a single mom. I'm doing a whole lot of different things. I can't wait to throw a whole full face of makeup on. That's a lot of work.
It is. I've never been the girly type where I'm just dressed to the T every day, you know. So as far as with that whole shimmer and no, that's not my personality. Completely. It's a part of my image, and I think people need to know the difference between your image and real life.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that.
We need to really be real with people now, because see, the younger generation is getting life confused already with that image and the social media and the followers. You know, you can have 1 million followers on social media, but in real life, you don't even have one.
You have no friend. You'll hang with family. You don't have anybody. The other thing, though, is if I could catch you in public, I need to know what you really look like. Like if I come and I meet Susie Q 1219 on Instagram and she all dialed up and I meet you in real life, I'm not going to believe it's you. I need to see who you really are. I need to get who the heart. It's one thing to be a model and that to be your image, but there are plenty of people that I've seen be models that have a model page, but you go to their regular page and you just see that they're a normal person who wears jeans and t-shirts, who eats wings and fries on the weekend, who, you know what I'm saying? We get to see them be a normal person. And I'm so glad you said we need to know the difference between image and real life. My image is a business. And so you need to understand that there's business behind it. That's working. But my real life is me and who I am every day with my family and my kids and everything that I have to deal with, just like you have to deal with. I'm so happy you said that image and real life thing, because we get that real mixed up real fast. People will be quick to judge you, to be like, you know what, you don't look like that today. And I'm like, I already told y'all I could be a hot mess on several occasions. But you always look lovely, Patrice. So
let me tell you something. People need to understand that it's an image that the celebrities have also. Have you ever seen some of the celebrities without their makeup on?
Oh, good, yes.
Look at that. Like, people need to stop feeling bad. That's an image that these people have to carry.
And I think,
you know, so let's stop getting them, you know, completely mixed up with reality versus social media and image. Reality versus image.
And see, and I think there have been a few stars to come out and show us what they really look like. And they look like, I know Gabrielle Union is good for that, for like taking all her makeup off and showing you how she does her skincare.
I think Gabby is beautiful. She's beautiful. Like,
with or without
been taking real good care of her skin.
But then we don't think of that, though. We don't think of that, though. We think that they're doing something that we can't do. And in actuality, she's like, wash your face. Wash your face, and then you can have this clear, glowing skin like I do. But we make it so complex because we think that there's some secret behind, like you said, but there's some secret behind this image. And honestly, she's a business. When we look at it, she is a business. So I'm just so glad that you brought that up. So let's get to this.
Right.
In the book, though, so we have the affirmations and then we have the activities. Why did you think it was important to have activities along with those affirmations for each of the 7 days?
Because I wanted this to be a week-long type of, I don't know if I should use the word project or...
I'm almost thinking you should, because it's like a transformation. It takes some work. When you're doing a project, you're doing some work.
Right. So for me, I want it to be 7 days of work. 7 days so you can really clear your head. 7 days so you can really begin to love you. And just start the new transition in your life, because you're not going to wake up tomorrow and be a changed person. And it's the same. Like when you're trying to dedicate yourself to something, you're not going to just wake up and say, hey, I'm a changed woman or I'm a changed man. It takes time to transition. So 7 days of activities and affirmations. I feel like when you do affirmation, it strengthens you, and it's pretty much needed, especially when you're feeling down. You know, if you get in the mirror and you say, well, hey, I'm somebody, I'm enough. I don't care what anybody else has said. I don't care what mama has said. I don't care what daddy has said. I am me and I'm enough. And if you continue to say that, you start to believe that, because guess what you're doing? You're working on your mind. You're working on building up your mentality. So, yeah.
And the agree with that. I'm sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm agreeing with everything you're saying.
The activities part was to give you something so that you can see that you already are the stuff. You already have these things within you. Simple things like going out for a pedicure, manicure, getting a massage, or soaking in your tub, or just simply pulling that dress from out the back of the closet that you've been dying to wear, but you haven't went on a special occasion. Go ahead and pull it out and get fancy, or put some heels on, dress up. Like, let's just do something different that you've been wanting to do. So, yeah.
And I think if we don't know nothing else as women, we know that changing clothes and changing our hair change the game. Like, you will be a whole nother person.
Right. It changes the attitude. It changes the mood, the attitude. You become fierce and fabulous. So, yeah, when we speak on confidence, we're talking about that attitude. We're talking about positive energy, good energy. You know, things that you were fearful, things that you were scared to do. Guess what? You're fearless now. I'm going to do it. I'm going to wear that. I'm going to go there. I'm going to do that. So, yeah, when I speak on confidence, I'm just not talking about the appearance. I'm talking about going and applying for and doing that job that you were scared to do, getting on an airplane. If you've never rode an airplane, go on that airplane and go to a good destination. Come to Jamaica. Again, we are getting ready to...
I want to hear about this trip.
Yeah. So we're having our first annual Confident Fat Girls Movement in Montego Bay, Jamaica, September 12th through the 15th, 2019, this year. We're going to get there that Thursday, and I think we're going to end it on that Sunday or either that Monday. But come on now, we're going to have a good time. I'm going to have some male hostess. I'm going to be hosting, but by the end of the night, I'm going to have some male hostess to take over for us single plus size ladies.
Yeah, me and Patrice about to be
we're gonna
real
have
friends.
Like a pool. Yeah, we're going to have a poolside party, I believe, on that Friday, and that Saturday is going to be like our event, our celebration. We're going to have a lot of good activities, and I just want us to just simply celebrate life and just be happy for who we are. That's all the book is about. That's all the movement is about. Because I've been that woman that has struggled with weight, and I felt down, and I felt lost at times when I looked in the mirror and I didn't see, that smaller version of myself. And I love my children, but when I had my children, I went through a transitional phase. Mm-hmm. So,
and see, and that's the thing. I think people automatically assume that you just ate your way to being plus size, or what I'm saying, like you just didn't take care of yourself. Nobody ever considers that there are other factors in play as to why you may have gained this weight and why you may be working on, or becoming accepting of this new body. And so, because sometimes when you become a new mother, you have to accept the way you look, your new look. Or if you have a health issue that prevents you from losing weight, you have to become to accept who that person is. And it's really easy for you not to accept that person when nobody else in the room is accepting you. But when you take the time, like I was like, the daily affirmations were really great. Like, I am enough. When you can speak that life into yourself, then you can be bold and be confident. But I think it does make a difference in the tribe that you hang with if they can speak life into you. So what do you say to women who have not found that tribe, who haven't found those people that are speaking life into them?
Pick up the book. Go get it off Amazon, Barnes and Noble. Come on out to the Confident Fat Girls movement. Visit my website. Send me an email. Let's talk. Inbox me. You don't know how many women, that's another thing. You don't know how many women that have inboxed me, shared their stories with me. I'm going to be coming up with like a monthly newsletter where I will feature some women because it inspires other women to see women transition, whether you lost the weight or gain the weight. I just want to share some stories so that we can all feel inspired and motivated. I remember talking to this one woman where she talked about she got MS. And she was talking about being overweight and struggling with weight. And she said that the doctors tried to correlate the MS with her being overweight. I talked with another woman. She had told me about, hey, she lost the weight, but she gained it again. And her attitude was still down in the dumps. She still suffered with low self-esteem. And she told me, she said, well, I love what you're doing. I love your book. But the one thing that I really, truly loved about it is she said, no matter if you're big or if you're small, if you don't love yourself and if you feel like you're not enough, then you're not going to be enough, whether, no matter what your size is. So I enjoy interacting and meeting these different women because the majority of the movement is women. Now, I get emails and different things from men, but they're just saying the same. Well, you ain't really fat. You ain't. No, that's not what this is about.
And see, when you made your declaration, I didn't think that you needed somebody to tell you that you weren't fat. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, so many times people think they have to make you feel better about you. Like I said earlier, like, you don't have to make me feel better about me. I'm allowed to have my own feelings about me and to grow and, to elevate from those feelings. I don't need you to coddle me and be like, you're not fat. Okay, I just said I'm fat. I know it, and I'm comfortable with it. Like, you get comfortable with it. And so when I read that, I didn't take it as you looking for us to give you sympathy. I took it for like, okay, she done said it. She done threw the gauntlet down. Now let's embrace this and keep it pushing. But I think what I find is like, because everybody knows that I train pretty. And so I go to this workout class. And at first I was so freaked out and nervous because I am a curvier girl. And so I have way more jiggle than a lot of people. But it was like, everybody there had some type of jiggle. Everybody there was looking for a place where they could be comfortable and just dance. Like, I love to dance. And if that dance is going to help me lose weight and I could be in a room full of people that are encouraging me, then that's what I want. So I was like, okay, Nick, let all this jiggle flow. Let all the curves show and be comfortable and find those tribe of people who are going to promote that for you, who are not going to judge you based upon what you look, but actually want to find out who you are. Now, in this process, though, in this 7-day affirmation and activity process, you also talk about journaling. Why is journaling such a heavy thing? It's something that we always tell people to do when they're working. Why is writing that therapy?
Wow. Well, for me, writing is my therapy because I'm able to.
She cut out. Can you hear her? Patrice? You guys hold on for just a second. Patrice? All right, you want to take a break? and then try to get her back. All right, hotties, we're going to take a break. We're going to find out what happened to Patrice. We're going to get her back on so she can answer some more about her book, Confidence of a Fat Girl, I Am Fat, So What by Patrice Shavone Brown. Hang on, we'll be right back. Hey, hotties, welcome back. And we found our friend Patrice, so she is going to finish answering our questions. Patrice, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, cool. So we were talking about journaling and writing. Why is that an important part of this self-discovery, this self-confidence journey?
Okay, well, so by me being a mental health counselor, writing is not only a passion for me, but it's therapy. I'm able to release all of the different bottled up emotions. Like if I've had a bad week during the week, I'm able to write out my different feelings, or, if I want to make my next steps, my plan, I'll just sit and I'll just write. I'll just come up with different concepts and where I see myself. And just writing for me, period, is a good thing. I'm able to release all of the toxic thoughts, all the stressors that have happened throughout the week. So I encourage anybody that goes through something, that has a lot of things on the mind, on the brain, to write it out and talk about it.
So I'm glad you mentioned that you're a mental health professional, because how much does your mental ability play into your confidence?
A lot. You're going to need that positive, good mental health in order to build up confidence and self-esteem. It's important that, like I said before, self-care and love for self needs to come first when we're talking about good mental health. And if you need to separate yourself from toxic people and toxic places and environment, then do that, because you're going to need good mental health. I can't stress it enough. I don't know how many times I say that, but good mental health is really, really important. Having that mindset, a good mindset, and the mentality that I'm going to make it, I'm going to win, I'm going to be fierce. It doesn't matter about yesterday or what other people think about me. I'm what matters. And again, I'm enough. I'm loved, and when I think about the affirmations that I listed in a book, that's what led me to the pledge.
The pledge.
The Fat Girl's Pledge is at the back of the book. I came up with that, and that was really, really true to my thoughts and to myself. And I was making not only a promise to myself, but I was making a promise to God. Because these are goals within the next 5 years that I want to achieve. And I feel like anything that we plan in life, we have to get that vision together, and we have to put the actions behind it to make things come true. So, journaling, pledges, goals are all important when we speak on good mental health, and when we speak on changing mindsets and having a good mentality to survive in life and build confidence and self-esteem.
And see, I'm so glad you said that, because there's a process for everything. And people just think that you can jump into stuff. But without a plan, you really are setting yourself up for failure. So if your plan is to lose weight, or if it's to gain confidence or learn self-love, there's a plan for everything you do in life. And so I'm so glad that you spoke that into people, like writing that plan down. However it is that you need to get that plan across, you need to be able to do that so that you can see it for yourself. Because I believe when you can see something, it becomes real for you. Like the moment that I write something and I look at it and I read it, it's really real. But I also tell myself that once I write it and I get over it, or I achieve that goal or whatever, then I can put that away and I can move on to the next thing. And so that I think like journaling and writing for me, that's what it does for me. And I know it works for me, so I know it will work for other people. But I was so glad that you even suggested getting a journaling group in the book, like other women or other people to come alongside of you and also to journal with you so that you guys can go through this process together. So what are we speaking into people that get stuck though? They start the affirmations, they read the book, but they get stuck on this journey. How do we get them unstuck and moving ahead into accomplishing these goals and to gaining confidence?
Go back and recap what you already read. Not saying read it word for word, but just go back and recap. And once you recap, you're going to be thirsty for more. You're going to want to, see what's next, or just you're going to be nosy. You're going to want to know what's coming next. Once you go back and recap and get your thoughts together, yeah, you're going to want to continue on.
And so I'm telling you guys that the book was like, it's more about confidence building than it is about, I want to say it's about weight loss, but it's more confidence building into who you are. So if you're skinny, if you're fat, if you're short, if you're tall, this book can apply to all types of people in all areas of life. So Patrice, tell us what else you have going on and tell us about the books you've written.
Okay, so my very first book that I wrote was called Secrets of a Crazy Mental Health Counselor.
It's a good one.
That is on Audible and Barnes & Noble and Amazon as well. So when we speak on counseling and the word crazy, a lot of people are afraid to use the word because there were so many different mental health stigmas, especially in the Black community. Nobody wants to be labeled as being crazy. So I took it upon myself to say, hey, I counsel people. I've been in the mental health field since 2003, and there's been times when I haven't had it all together. And I want to share with the world my experience. And I want to let people know that, hey, I have issues just like you, but I was able to balance, my career versus my personal life. And this is something that I'm going to continuously do throughout life because I'm not perfect. So Secrets of a Crazy Mental Health Counselor is a good book. I talk about a lot of different things, their relationships and failure. I talk about failure is key in the book because there's going to be a point in your life where failing is going to be necessary because you're going to learn from that failure. So pick up that book if you're interested in self-development, or I'm not going to call it more so of self-help, but for me it was self-development, and it's like an inspiration for women. And I just disclose a lot of different things. You're going to be like, whoa, she said that? Yeah, I said that.
That's the one I got on
my second book is called The Day That Mama Made Me Dance. It's a children's book, and it's about a little girl who continues to misbehave. She's very rebellious. She doesn't listen to her mom, and one day mom has had enough. And I know for my culture and the way that I grew up, my family believed in this thing called whippings or butt whoopings. So the book could be a little bit controversial. It just depends on you and your background and how you grew up, and how you would handle discipline. And one thing that you have to understand about me being an author is that I am controversial. I'm not going to sugarcoat a lot of different things because of my background and how I grew up. And when I write, I'm writing based on my experience and based on my life.
Amen.
So The Day Mama Made Me Dance is a metaphor. You have to figure out why the little girl danced.
I got to go get this book. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to drop the books on the website, y'all. So we going to read these books. I need to know. I need to know why Mama made her dance, how she did it. Because, I got a kid and she works on her. Right. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, yes. So my third book is called We Blend Well Together. That particular book is about families. It's about separated families. A family that's going through a divorce, that book will be beneficial. It's pretty much for ages 4 through 10. Okay. Both children books are between the ages of 4 and 10. And it's about a boy, a young boy. I think he's about 7 years old, and he's confused because he goes from his mom's house to his dad's house, and he's trying to figure out his whole family dynamic, and he's not understanding why his mom and dad aren't together, and what is the whole purpose of us living out separate? Okay. Why do I have to go over to dad's house, and so on and so forth? So the mom, again, explains the new family dynamic and the changes, and she pretty much lets them know that, hey, we're going to blend well together, whether we're together or not. So that particular book, it comes in handy when it's a family that's going through some separation issues.
So there you guys have it. 4 books. 4 books that's helping us develop and be a better person for us, ourselves and for our families. And then she got us going to Jamaica in September. So how can we go to your site and find out more about Jamaica?
Right. That's PatriceShavone.com or PatriceShavoneBrown.com. And just visit me on Instagram. It's Patrice_Shavone, and I'm on Facebook. 2 pages, Patrice Shavone Brown Page and Patrice Shavone Brown.
Okay, so you guys, I'm going to drop that information for you so that you can connect with Patrice. Patrice, I want to thank you for coming on this evening and sharing with us and just giving us some encouragement and inspiration to proclaim who we are and to be okay with that and to be confident in that. So I want to thank you so much for this experience. It was truly uplifting, and I am truly a fat girl. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome. Hey, hotties. As always, you can catch me and the hottest kids over at JustOneHotMom.com, where we will be growing, where we be living, where we be loving and laughing and loving and fighting and doing all that stuff. Follow me and the kids on all my social media at JustOneHotMom. Guess what, hotties? You've been tuned in and you've been elevated. Talk to you soon.